I don't know what the deal is, but for some reason, Harley-Davidson can't stay out of the news this week. First off, we had the release of the new standard, or the Softail standard, and then they fired their CEO. But we don't know what's going on with that company. Let's find out. What is up, peoples of YouTube? I'm the Motorcycle Mick, and today it's nuts. This week's been crazy for Harley-Davidson. A bunch of announcements, a bunch of stuff coming out. You know, we're gonna break it down for you guys right now. Before I get too far into that though, if you are new to this channel, been watching for a very long time, hit that subscribe button down below. I upload new videos every Tuesday around 3 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time. And I do live streams every Thursday. So come check them out, come hang out, be part of the conversation. Back to what I was talking about. Harley-Davidson announced Friday that their CEO has left the motor company. Willingly, or whatever they want to say. What actually happened was had a conversation with them and kind of forced him out. But let's look at the outgoing CEO. His name is Matt Levidich. And Friday the 28th, they announced that he was leaving the company after his tenure there since, the late 90s, that he's been with the motor company. He's gonna be leaving not only his position as CEO of the company, but also as a member of the board, which is a very big hit because that means he's being completely separated from the company after their conversation. This guy has been around Harley-Davidson a while. He was the CEO in 2015 when he got announced, and from 2009 to 2015, he was the president and COO. Wow, I'm using big words I don't fucking understand, but whatever. Chief Operations Officer of the company. That's insane because this guy had his claws deep and his time and effort into Harley-Davidson. He got forced out. He's being replaced by a board member there who's gonna be a temporary person, like a temporary CEO of the company. That guy's name is, I don't blame me if I butcher this, but his name is Jochen Zeitz. And Jochen Zeitz is, the dude's kind of a philanthropist. He does his own thing, and he's kind of really not explaining, but he's a very cool out there guy. But does he understand of what Harley's whole demographic is? The people that are like sold on living the hog lifestyle. This guy, he's a good businessman. He's a board member on Harley's board, so he's got to know something about Harleys. But who is Jochen Zeitz? This gentleman, this is the man of the hour. He's a 50s, I'm just gonna read like a bio on him, I guess, but he's a 50, 60-year-old exec, an entrepreneur, and in 93 became the CEO of Puma at the age of 30, which is the youngest for that German company, and he saved the company from bankruptcy and brought them back to the top of sporting good companies. And he also runs a B-Team charity with Richard Branson. This guy understands. He's really taking a new change on the whole business aspect of Harley-Davidson and changing it from like an industrial revolution and extricating resources to sustainable business, sustainable resources. The big question is, can he take the business in the right direction? I do apologize if you hear the fire truck outside. It's nice and warm and comfy out, and I haven't been able to have my windows open in a while. I'm enjoying it because spring is almost here. But back to what I was saying. Can Jochen Zeitz take the company in the right direction? I think a lot of the problems we've ran into really comes down to Harley in general. They don't really seem to understand the demographic of my age. People that are going to be 18, 19 to, let's say, 35, 40s. Even I'll cut it off at 35. But they really aren't understanding the generation that I live with and what we're expecting out of motorcycles and the quality and the power and the way things are. You guys already know I've had experiences, and I talked about this in my last video about having the shitty quality of my Harley-Davidson that I didn't know existed when I bought it. But I had other people warn me the quality of Harley-Davidson had dropped a lot. And it seems like we need a leader in the Harley-Davidson and the motor company to lead us in a direction that's gonna bring us to the future. What's gonna be the next thing, the next way to grow the company. And having someone that can grow the company is gonna be the way to help Harley come back from where they're at. Their level of complacency, and I've talked about this too, is Harley's too complacent, is kind of going away, which is good to see. And there's actually a lot of people that know that this Jochen Zeitz that we're talking about now is one of the main reasons we have the live wire. And I understand there's a bunch of butthurt people about the live wire, but that's the future of motorcycles. Get over it. That bike is, electronic motorcycles are gonna be the way of the future and how things are gonna go and how we're gonna be transported around, especially when fossil fuels become irrelevant. You're gonna get used to electric motorcycles, and that hog sound and design, that's gotta be moved over. And I think the reason that Harley's bringing out like the Pan American and the Bronx is because those bikes can be converted over to electric just like the Livewire, and I'm sure it's something they have in the build where they're gonna have like the E versions of the bikes, 3 different styles of motorcycles over there in the electric side of it. But Jochen Zeitz has his mindset on helping Harley advance at least temporarily until the board finds an outside person. That's right, the board is going to an outside person for the executive position, for the CEO, head honcho of the motor company. They are not looking within. Now, whether Jochen Zeitz is gonna be like, you know what, I can take this over, I can do this, well, we don't know. It's gonna be a lot of time and effort to really discover what this gentleman has to offer for the company. Harley itself, as a company, they've been struggling for years with sales. Everyone knows that, it's not a secret. They've had declining sales in the US. This is where they sell their bikes. Harley-Davidson is known in the United States as the bike to have. Yeah, there's other things like Import bikes, and there's Indian and all the other companies and Polaris. But like in the United States, people are like, hey man, I got a Harley, and people know what you're talking about. But they need to grow on that, and they need to start building bikes that people are gonna buy and start taking care of crappy quality that they've had. Their quality control is lack. Literally, their market is dying. I need the whole phrase, stupid phrase, okay boomer. It's true. Baby boomers are literally aging out of riding motorcycles. They're getting too old to ride motorcycles. And I'm not talking about your hardcore ones that are gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ride till the day I die. I'm talking about the ones that they gingerly rode motorcycles. And that's such a funny word to say with riding, but they gingerly rode their bikes, and it wasn't always the thing they did. But them being out of touch with their market, it's a problem. And you know, them trying to expand overseas, and they have their mind in the right place, I guess, for expansion around the world. But they already have bikes they could use, like the Street 500 and the Street 750 are 2 bikes that they could put in other countries that they would fit in perfectly, because that's just the way they ride and their style of bikes. They really ran into some problems. Yeah, there's issues they've had with like the tariffs with Trump and all that kind of stuff. But really, I mean, the company shouldn't be declining the way it is. They should be targeting new audiences, and people like me that really take advantage of riding are gonna be talking about their bike. Now, good or bad, they need to figure that out. Apparently this guy wasn't that good though, this Matt Levitich, because when the announcement happened, stock prices jumped 5% with Harley-Davidson. That's a 5% increase since Harley's like, hey, we're getting it out, we're switching them out. But I mean, to have 17% in decline in sales since 2015 when this guy took over, I mean, that's 264,627 bikes down to 218,273 in 2019. Because those boomers are aging out, there's a surplus of used bikes, and people are gonna buy used bikes because they're way better priced than a dealership. So they gotta find a way to get those bikes back, even do like a bike buyback where they buy back the old ones, and I mean, put them in a museum, put them somewhere, but try to get those bikes back in there. But they're getting desperate. Harley-Davidson is getting desperate. In the last 3 years, they've spent $66.4 million on research and development and $39 million on advertising. But here's the problem with that. They spent $39 million on advertising because they're so worried about protecting their brand and their lifestyle that they never really looked out to see like what people want to see. People want honest opinions about motorcycles. People want to see people riding them. People want to have someone talk about a motorcycle, not quietly buying people out. I mean, honestly, when you start giving motorcycles, giving Harleys to people to like be like, hey, you know, we want a better image, people are seeing that the company's buying people out. I mean, sorry, but people want honest opinions, and Harley's so worried about protecting themselves and not getting out there and getting honest opinions about their motorcycle that they won't reach out to people. Like, they spent $39 million on advertising in the last 3 years. $39 million. If they found like 100 people that ride Harleys on YouTube and were like, hey, we want to sponsor you as a company, but we also want you to have like, you know, blood honest opinion to us. Like, we'll give you bikes, you test them out and give us an honest opinion, but also we'll give you bikes to ride in videos, we'll give you gear, we'll send you on trips, send you to places to ride bikes. They could have saved, honestly, with 100 people, like they could have saved like $30 million, let's say, over 3 years. Instead of that 39, let's say they spent $9 million sending 100 people out of these places to get all this stuff and sponsor them. They could have saved a lot of money instead of spending it on trying to find ads and build ads that really reach out to a community they're disconnected with because they don't want to take a step into the community. Harley is the kind of company that likes looking from the outside in, but does not like looking from the inside out. They don't like seeing people talk about their bikes bad. But also, that same point is that's realistic criticism, and if they corrected that critique the people had, you know, maybe not in a global sense, but like, hey, we can step this up, or hey, reach out to that person, like, hey, we can take care of you as a motor company, we have the money, we have the resources, here, we want to help you out. They would see a better customer service aspect because Literally, most of the dealerships I've been to are dicks. They don't want to address issues, and they want to have little caveats in their workmanship that they can get away with, like the spokes on my bikes being rusty, or the certain bolts or other bikes having issues. It's like they decide that, oh, sorry, corrosion isn't covered under warranty, but it's like, well, I paid for the extended service plan, what the fuck do I have that for? But if Harley pays attention and actually starts reaching out and starts looking at things, they can start growing again. Since 2015, they've taken almost $1 billion in losses. Really looking at the motor company, can Harley save face? And how will they do that? How will they get their brand back on track for what it used to be? How will the acting CEO work out? How will this Jochen Zeitz do with the company while the time he has power? Is he just there as a figurehead, or is he actually going to try and make some changes with the company and start to grow it and change it? And maybe even reach out to these people on social media and be like, hey, you know, we want honest opinions, we want to send you places, we want to do these things because we want to be in touch with the demographic. And I'm more likely to watch someone that's my age on YouTube than I am to watch a Harley commercial. I mean, yeah, I see stuff that pops up and I do it because I have a YouTube channel, but another thing too is like, how are they going to fight a traditional market where it's people need a Harley and they don't? Harley has to sell people on Harleys, and how are they going to spend less on marketing? $39 million seems like a waste on marketing. They could be spending less money by going to like people on YouTube, promoting people on YouTube, and getting more out of it, getting more content, because versus having to pay a advertising company to come up with an idea to reach the people, to reach millennials or Gen Zers, or you want to call us, or the kids that are younger than me too. Instead of like trying to find a company that's like, this is what kids want, how about you ask like, hey, you know, show us what you want, show us riding the bike, show us everything you like about the motorcycle. Harley just needs to open up and become a more open company and open to everything. This is all I got today for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and just let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Let me know down below what you think about this and how you think Harley's gonna recover, if they can, if they can't. And as always, I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon tea, brunch, lunch, nightcap, midnight snack, crumpet, bacon sandwich, McGriddle, and remember to always ride for freedom. And hopefully the motor company can change its fucking ways. Hey, goodbye. They say I'm not supposed to, but I'll make my own rules. Dog, this shit is old school. Yo, bitch, man, that's so new. She been on my whole crew. Yeah, that chick is ran through.